Picture this. It's a Tuesday night, nothing special happening, and you're scrolling through your phone looking at someone else's highlight reel. A vacation in Greece, a new car, a kitchen renovation. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet, nagging thought creeps in. Why does it feel like everyone else is getting ahead and I'm just treading water? You're not blowing money on crazy things. You're not irresponsible. You go to work, you pay your bills, maybe you throw a little into your 401k when you remember to. And yet, somehow, the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels like it's getting wider, not narrower. I know that feeling. I've been there. And today I want to talk about why that gap exists and, more importantly, what actually closes it. Because I promise you, it is not what you think. My name is Nico, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some high earners stay stuck while others build real wealth. If this video helps you see money differently, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this stuff. Here's the myth I want to destroy right out of the gate. Most people believe that getting rich requires some dramatic, decisive moment. A big investment that pays off. A business idea that goes viral, landing the perfect job with the six-figure salary. We are conditioned by social media, by movies, by every rags to riches story we've ever heard to believe that wealth is built in flashes of brilliance. But here's the truth no one talks about. The people quietly getting rich around you, they are almost certainly doing the most boring things imaginable, consistently, without applause, without anyone watching. And that's exactly why it works. This video is about 10 habits that are almost insultingly unexciting, but the math behind them is absolutely devastating in the best possible way. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're not going to be looking for the next big move. You're going to start showing up differently on an average Tuesday. Let's start with the psychology, because this is where most people get it completely wrong. Think about it this way. Your brain is not wired for delayed gratification. That's not a personal flaw. That's just neuroscience. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for long-term planning, is constantly in a wrestling match with your limbic system, which is basically a toddler screaming, "I want it now." Studies show that when people are under financial stress, cortisol levels rise, and ironically, high cortisol actually impairs the very decision-making centers you need to escape financial stress. You are literally less capable of good money decisions when money is tight. That's not an excuse, it's a starting point. Because once you understand that, you stop relying on willpower and motivation, and you start building systems, boring, automatic, invisible systems. That's what today is really about. Habit number 1 is automating your savings before you ever see the money. Most people save what's left over. Wealthy people save first and live on the rest. Here's where it gets really interesting. When your savings transfer happens automatically on payday, your brain never registers that money as available. You adapt to the smaller number. The psychological term is hedonic adaptation, and it works in reverse too. Drop your take-home by $200 a month through an automatic transfer, and within 3 months, most people genuinely don't feel the difference. But $200 a month for 30 years at a 7% average return, that's over $227,000 from one boring automatic transfer. Habit number 2 is keeping a predictable weekly money date with yourself. Not glamorous. 15 minutes every Sunday, you open your accounts, you look at what came in, what went out, no judgment, just awareness. Sound familiar? Probably not, because most people avoid looking at their finances the same way they avoid stepping on the scale after a bad week. But here's the thing. The people who look consistently make better decisions consistently. It's not about what you find, it's about the habit of looking. Habit number 3 is packing lunch. I know, you've heard this before. But here's the part that will blow your mind. This isn't really about the $12 you save. It's about the decision-making muscle you're building. Every time you choose the boring option over the convenient one, you're reinforcing an identity. You are becoming the person who makes intentional choices, and that identity bleeds into every other financial decision you make. The lunch is the practice field. Habit number 4 is reading for 30 minutes a day about money, business, or psychology. Not news, Not social media. Books. Actual books. Most people have no idea this even exists, but there's a well-documented correlation between the reading habits of high net worth individuals and their wealth accumulation. Charlie Munger called it the most important investment you can make. Warren Buffett reportedly spends 80% of his day reading. Now, you and I have jobs and kids and actual lives, but 30 minutes? That compounds too, not in dollars, in decision quality. And decision quality over a lifetime is worth more than almost any investment. Habit number 5 is negotiating every single renewal. Your car insurance, your phone bill, your internet, your subscriptions. Every year, you call and you ask for a better rate or you threaten to leave. Think about it this way. A single 30-minute phone call on your car insurance could save you $400 a year. Do that across 5 services, and you've generated $2,000 in annual cash flow without earning a single extra dollar. That's not exciting. That's not a hustle. It's just a Tuesday phone call. Habit number 6 is having one financial goal written down on a piece of paper somewhere visible. Not a vision board, not a manifesto, one number, one deadline. Research on goal setting, specifically the work by Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University, found that people who write down specific goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Your brain treats written goals differently than vague intentions. One number, write it down, leave it somewhere annoying.
Habit number 7 is sleeping on purchases over $100, the 24-hour rule. You want it, you put it in your cart, you sleep on it. Here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show that the dopamine hit from anticipating a purchase is often equal to or greater than the dopamine from the actual purchase. Your brain gets part of the reward just from considering the buy, which means waiting 24 hours costs you nothing emotionally that you haven't already received, and it kills roughly 30% of impulse purchases. That's not discipline, that's a hack.
Habit number 8 is cooking at home at least 5 nights a week. The average American household spends over $3,500 a year dining out. Drop that in half and redirect it, that's $1,750 a year. Invested over 20 years at 7%, you're looking at nearly $75,000 from pasta and grocery runs. The boring math is genuinely violent. Habit number 9 is maxing your employer 401k match before doing anything else. If your company matches up to 3% and you're not contributing at least 3%, stop the video, go fix that right now. Come back. This is a 50 to 100% instant return on your money. There is no investment on earth that competes with that. Most people have no idea this even exists in practical terms, meaning they know it's a thing, but they've never done the actual math on what leaving it on the table costs them over a career. The number is staggering. Habit number 10 is the one people resist the most. Doing nothing with your investments. Not checking them every day, not reacting to headlines, not moving things around when the market drops. The most powerful wealth-building behavior in a long-term investment account is inertia. Studies from Fidelity famously found that the best-performing accounts were ones where the account holder had either forgotten about them or died. Consistency of inaction is a habit, and it runs directly against every instinct your emotional brain has. Now, here's where the practical shift happens, and this part is important. None of these habits work in isolation. The magic isn't in any one of them. It's in the identity that forms when you start stacking them. When you automate savings and negotiate your bills and sleep on purchases and invest consistently, something shifts in how you see yourself. You stop being the person hoping for a lucky break. You become the person building something quietly, on purpose, without needing anyone to notice. But let me give you a warning, because I see people fall into this trap all the time. Don't try to implement all 10 at once. That's the diet starts Monday approach, and it collapses by Wednesday. Pick 2, just 2. Make those automatic before you add more. Financial behavior change is slow by design, and that's okay, because so is wealth building. Look, none of these habits are going to make you rich overnight. You knew that before you clicked on this video.
But here's what they will do. They will fundamentally change who you are in relation to money. The person who shows up every Sunday for a 15-minute money date, who negotiates their bills without apology, who lets their investments sit quietly while the world panics, that person doesn't need a lucky break. They're already building something most people won't believe came from boring Tuesday habits. Your future self is not waiting for a flash of brilliance. They're counting on the boring decision you make today. Start there. That's enough.